We've moved on now from the eco centre at Arrowheart Island. We had 2 or 3 really nice days there. We've moved a bit closer to Kerikeri. Kerikeri is a smallish settlement, probably about 10,000 people, and we're 2 or 3 kilometres away from the town centre, on one of the Motorhome Association parking sites. Now these sites literally are parking areas. This one has got an area with some bins so you can get rid of your rubbish, but it's got nothing else, no water, no toilets. That's typical of the sites. They're really geared up just so that you can park. What you do know is that you're going to get a lot of space because they're geared up for certainly much bigger setups than we've got. So they're cheap. I mean, we pay about $2 or $3 each to stay here in the evening, so they're really good places to stop. This is the second time we've been here. This is actually one of the better sites, I'd say, in terms of its location. It's a really nice spot. It's by a beautiful waterfall that we've seen on a previous video, and there's a walk by the river that we're about to set off on and show you. Okay, so we're off to walk down to the stone store, which is, I guess, one of the iconic buildings in Kerikeri. So iconic that I've never been there. So we'll, with great anticipation, see whether it's worth all the hype. And we're about to pop out by the river, so the track runs all the way down the river. It's about 5k, I think, so probably an hour to get there, downhill, uphill all the way back. And the major downhill, I think, is almost immediately we get onto the track, because that's where the Rainbow Falls are, that you may have seen on an earlier video, which I took in February, January, so the height of summer. Hi there, how are you?
Good, thank you.
And now we're coming up to the end of spring, and I think there's probably going to be a lot more water there, so let's just go and see. You got some lovely rainbow effect from the spray, the sun coming through the spray. Hope you can pick that up. So yeah, 1 hour, 4.3k. Okay. And we've got to go through this little foot cleaning area now. We'll see how it's done. So this is because there's the Kauri tree, which is an iconic New Zealand tree, huge tree, which grows for a long time, but there's a disease, and the roots of the Kauri are very shallow, and it's thought that just by walking in, if you've got the disease on your shoes, you can spread it into the trees. So they've actually closed some of the walks to just stop the risk of infection, but some others they just have the foot cleaning, which also cleaned the bottom of my legs actually. The noise of the waterfall here is pretty impressive actually. It's powering down. You can actually, the spray, when it's hitting the pool, is getting carried back up by the wind.
Yeah.
It's a sort of reverse waterfall.
Yeah. Wonderful. Few people visiting and checking it out.
So again, we're getting some good video shots here of the sunlight coming through the bush. It works really well with these pungas, the tree fern. Nice one here. Yeah, a really pretty walk. We're about halfway through the walk now, and it's been undulating. We're actually quite a way above the river, or we have been quite a way above the river. And right now we're passing under one of the two main entrances into Kerikeri. So this is a reasonably recent addition, the bypass. And one of the main reasons they built it was because the road used to run down by this stone store, and it used to create problems with flooding. I think it made it quite difficult for them to protect the store, and on a couple of occasions when there were some big storms, it almost got flooded out, and I think the land around it was getting quite eroded. So they took a fairly major step of just bypassing the whole area with that particular bypass. So it looks like, I think we carry on. That's one of the way in and out, but I think we carry on. We just keep on going with the river, which we've now dropped back down to, and it's pretty still and deep at this point. We've come across an area where there must have been at some point quite a spectacular rockfall down towards the river, obviously some time ago. And this is a really sort of wizened old tree. It looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. And as you can hear, we're quite a way above the river again. This is a big old, I think it's a rimu tree. Getting a hug. Dropping back down to the river again. More sound of waterfall. This isn't as high as the Rainbow Falls, but it's spectacular nevertheless. Okay, what we're looking at here is the water pipe that takes the water from the top of the Rainbow Falls down to this hydro plant, which is described as a historic powerhouse. And on one of my earlier videos I talked a little bit about the history behind it and how it actually enabled Kerikeri to start developing as a settlement. Like many things in New Zealand, it's very utilitarian. So there's basically a corrugated shed and then the remnants of the generators. Here we are, down at the basin with the stone store. Let's go over here and have a look. I think the building on the left behind the tree a sort of sandy stone coloured building. That's the actual store. So the headstone above the door, you can't read it, it's saying 1833. So that's a pretty old building for New Zealand. And unusually for New Zealand, it's made of stone. Most New Zealand buildings, particularly that sort of age, were wood. Okay, time for some lunch and a coffee. And we've got an addition coming up to the turmeric latte video. We'll see how this one scores. I think so far of the 3 that we filmed, one was very ignominiously scored at 1 out of 10. One got 8 or 9 and one got 8.5. So let's see where this one finishes up.
Considering it's with almond milk, it's not going to be very high.
Okay, so the expectations aren't too high. It's almond milk, not coconut milk. Okay.
But that made me surprised. This should be disposable.
Okay, it's arrived. And so's the wind. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Okay.
Yeah, all looks reasonably good color.
So initial impression is okay?
Yeah, good color, cinnamon on top. Let's see. Frost from the almond milk. So if I go beyond the difference in milk and see how it is.
What's the stirring going on?
I'm just trying to get the cinnamon in because I like the cinnamon flavor infused, not on top. Okay, let's see. Yeah, well, maybe 4. It's not bitter, it's actually quite sweet. I expected it to be a bit more bitter being done with almond milk. So either the almond milk has sugar in it, or the actual turmeric latte mixes from a packet. Because again, the flavor of turmeric is very, very light. It's more sweet than anything else I can taste. And a little bit of cinnamon, but the turmeric doesn't really come across. So 3, 4.
I think we better stop filming because it started off at 4.
Yeah.
Now it's down to 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so it's not going to get any better, that's for sure.
No, it's quite diluted and yeah.
Okay, 3 to 4.
Down.
3 to 4.
3.
3. That's the final verdict. Okay.
Alright.
Nearly back to the van now. That was a really nice walk. It's pretty easy. I mean, we've climbed about 100 meters on the way back up, but it's been pretty steady. There's nothing really steep. And the surface of the track is really good. So most people would be able to do that walk quite easily. And it's quite a nice sort of about a 10k round trip with a break halfway at the stone store and the mission station. Get a coffee and something to eat. That wasn't spectacular, I have to say. The turmeric latte, as you know, only got 3 or 4 out of 10. So, but yeah, really nice walk. Definitely recommend it.